afternoon, everyone. It's me, Jessica, your health fitness program manager from McLean. Just making sure it's not too bright behind me. Awesome. We are going to have a great mind-body practice today. So we're going to start off seated on our mats, and then we're going to get to stand up and do a little bit of a flow. We're just going to do the best that we can with the bodies that we have today. I know if you've come to my class before, we don't do a lot of flows, but I recognize that that's something that I'm sure some of you are really interested in. So I'm working to add that into our practice. So today's going to be an active class. Tomorrow we've got that passive yin yoga in the afternoon, and on Friday we'll come back to combining it all together and also do a nice salutation to the moon, because we've got a new moon coming this weekend, and Friday is also the 13th, so you know how that is. All right, so if you need any blocks or props, you're encouraged to just gather whatever might be helpful to you. I'm not really going to specifically encourage props today, but I want you to keep them around if that's going to make your practice feel more comfortable. So we're going to get started in Sukhasana, any sort of seated position of your choice, in 3 amazing minutes. 3 minutes. You can go, buddy. Here are some awesome notes for today. Great. Definitely encourage you to put on some nice quiet music. I know I love listening to, there's a Spotify channel of just Tibetan bowls, which I find incredibly relaxing during a yoga class. So I just encourage you to put on some gentle jams that you can enjoy while we're just breathing. Set the mood for yourself, turn the lights down, whatever it takes. Fred's getting some solid peanut eating in right now before class starts. Uncle Buck. Why are you crying, little dude? There's no crying in yoga. No, actually there is frequently crying in yoga, and that's totally okay. Found a little leaf. You can take a comfy seated position of your choice as well, Uncle Buck. Thank you. Cool. It's 12:15, so if you haven't already made it down to the floor, come on down into your space for today. Just start to come into your breath. If you find it super challenging to sit here comfortably, remember, you don't have to be in a cross-legged position like me. If it's more comfortable for you to extend those legs out, actually that feels really great. I think I'm going to start in this position today. So if you have your legs crossed, you can always relax your hands on your thighs or your knees for a little bit of grounding. With my legs open, I'm going to place my hands on the floor in front of me. I'm going to take a gentle forward tilt of my pelvis so I can get that nice straight back to start out with. And just start to come into your breath. Start to try and find some length through your spine, stretching up through the crown of your head to the ceiling above you. And then back to those full belly breaths. Notice if, as class starts, your breaths are more towards the top of your chest, and work to send them all the way down towards the bottom of your diaphragm. we're just breathing here in the beginning. Feel free to close your eyes and just start to come into your body, into your mind, and your practice for today. Just notice how your body's feeling. Notice if there's any place that needs a little extra love or attention. We'll take these next couple of breaths, about 1 minute, to just start to enjoy stretches that feel right for you today. Maybe you want to just hang out, continuing to enjoy the stillness of your breath. I'm just going to start to bring a little bit of a twist in. I know my upper back, my shoulders are pretty tired. I was walking the dog this morning thinking, oh my gosh, my legs are tired. Whose workout did I do yesterday? And the answer was mine. So hopefully you've been attending some classes this week for that mindfulness aspect, just something to be a little grateful for. And if you're just feeling any soreness, just taking this time right now, maybe giving yourself some shoulder rolls or already coming into some neck rolls. We'll probably hit a lot of it together, just, giving yourself some extra love today as needed. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and fold my legs into easy pose. I find that to be very comfortable. If you come into easy pose and you find that your knees are pointing all the way up towards the ceiling, this would be the time to use your prop. Finding a slightly lifted position can help those knees slope down towards the floor. Start to bringing some stretches into your hip flexors. All right, so back into our stillness for the next 2 breaths. I want you to think towards making your pranayama, your breath, the most important part of today's practice, and let the asanas, the postures, just be whatever they may be. If we do anything that seems a little bit too intense for you, please feel free to just simply relax your knees down on the mat. Coming into child's pose as needed is a really great way to just come back to your breath, to your stillness, to yourself, and enjoy the practice. Okay, let's start with some nice big breaths actually. So go ahead, relax your arms down by your side. Turn your hands, palms forward. We're gonna inhale those arms up overhead. Stretch up, exhale, relax your arms down by your side. 3 more. Inhale, thumbs lead, arms up overhead. Exhale, pinkies lead, arms down by your side. Still finding length. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. 1 more time. Let's inhale, lift. Keep those arms up overhead. This time, turn your thumbs towards the back of the room. If you noticed your shoulders creep up towards your ears, I want you to relax and release those shoulders down as much as possible. Grounding your sit bones into whatever they're placed on. Draw that belly in. Keep stretching out through your fingers. Take a deep inhale. And on your exhale, bring that right hand down to the floor. Inhale, lift. Exhale, left hand comes down. Inhale, lift. Bring that right hand down. Inhale, up. Now your left hand. All right, feel free to get a little bit deeper into it. This time as you bring that right hand down, maybe taking a bend in the elbow, a little extra stretch to the side. Inhale, lift. Exhale, left hand. 2 more times each side. Lift. Reach and stretch. Lift. Reach and stretch. 1 more time each side. In this slightly faster pace. Inhale, lift. Exhale, stretch. Bring those arms back up overhead. This time we're going to find a little bit of a twist. So take a deep inhale, stretch up. Exhale, turn towards the right. Both fingers come down. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, left hand comes behind you, right hand to the front. Inhale, lift. Exhale, twist. Inhale, lift. exhale, twist. One more time each side. Just moving with our breath. Inhale, lift. Last one. Go ahead, inhale those arms up overhead. Exhale, rain your fingertips down to the floor in front of you. Tent your fingers on the floor. Take that big lift of your chest to begin with. Walk your hands out as far as feels comfortable. Starting with this lifted chest, active back, glutes down on the floor. And if it feels comfortable for you, if your back feels good today, you can use your next exhale to find some rounding. But if you have any discomfort in your back, stay lifted and tented on those fingers, and just make sure as you come forward that you're not coming forward so much that those glutes come up off of the floor. Feel free to allow your chin to fall towards your chest, forehead hanging heavy down towards the floor. Starting to bring a little bit of a stretch into our upper necks, depending on how much you hinged forward. Take 2 more breaths right here. Focus on feeling your rib cage expand from the back. And then on your next inhale, begin to lift yourself up, walk yourself back in. Let's go ahead, kick those legs out in front of us, just taking a moment to bob your knees, windshield wipe your feet, take out any tension that has created in your legs. Go ahead, kick that left leg out, fold your right leg in cornerwise. Inhale those arms back up overhead, turn towards your extended leg, and bring your hands down in line with your heart. I have my hands palms together just for a little bit more stability here. Draw your shoulders away from your ears. Pull that belly in tight. Knit your ribcage back together. Take a deep inhale. Exhale, hinge forward, but keep that back lifted and straight. One more big inhale here. And then exhale. Feel free to round down towards that foot. Just coming into the stretch that feels best for you today. Do your best to square your chest towards that thigh. And then on your next inhale, you can drag your fingers back in, lift yourself up, arms come back up overhead. Let's go ahead, switch to the other side. Kick your opposite leg out, fold your extended foot in, turn towards that straightened leg. Let's bring our hands, palms back in line with our chest. Sit bones grounded, shoulder blades squeezed together, belly in tight. Take a deep inhale. Exhale, hinge forward at the hips with that nice open chest, flat back. One more deep inhale. Exhale, feel free to find that fold, especially if your back's feeling good today. One more big breath here. And on your inhale, gently roll yourself up, bring those arms up overhead once more. Relax your arms down by your side. Beautiful. Fold your opposite leg in, coming back into our comfortable seated position or kicking both legs out. That's what felt good for you today. Go ahead, take a moment, tuck your chin down towards your chest. We're going to make some half circles here. So bringing your left ear to your left shoulder. Then chin back down towards your chest as your breath changes. Right ear to right shoulder. We'll spend about a minute right here just rolling back and forth. If you're feeling any discomfort and you need to hang out in your stretch a little bit longer, that's absolutely okay. Last 2 breaths right here. Awesome. Go ahead, lift your head back up. Just take a moment with those eyes closed. Come back to your breath. Come back to your focus on yourself. If you want to set an intention for your class today, now would be a beautiful time to do so. Maybe coming into whatever your mantra might be right now. Still focusing on the same mantra that I had last month, which is the idea that I love my body as it is right now, and And I'm just so thankful for everything that it can do for me. Nice work. All right, let's go ahead and come up onto tabletop in all fours. Yay! Getting your hands, palms underneath of your chest and your hips stacked on top of your knees. Take a moment right here. Let's do a little bit of traditional cat-cow. So pressing your hands, palms into the floor, looking towards your knees, to your belly button, arching that back like an angry Halloween cat. Meow. And then changing your breath, allowing that belly to hang heavy down towards the floor. Find as much movement in your spine in the opposite direction as you can. So really think about squeezing those shoulder blades towards each other, a little separation even of your glutes towards the back of the room, pressing those knees down into the floor. And when you're ready, change. Just working with your breath at the pace that feels good for you. We're going to work a little bit more into our total body, start to wake up our hips a little bit. After we come back into a nice neutral tabletop right here. So once again, press into your hands, palms, find that flat back, knees gently activated, press down into the floor. We're going to start to make some circles with our hips. So bring your hips back towards your left foot, almost like you're pressing back towards child's pose. Just make a couple circles right here, same direction. One more time, circling in the same direction, then we'll come into our neutral tabletop for just a moment. Make sure that that back is still active, belly tight once again, and let's make some circles in the opposite direction. Two more. Awesome, next we're gonna warm up our wrist just a little bit. So back into neutral tabletop. I want you to bring that body weight gently forward and then back. Forward and back. 3 more times. Just a nice gentle rock, working to bring those shoulders forward of your fingertips. Last one right here. Take a moment, sit back in kneeling. We're just gonna lift our hands up, make some circles with your wrist, maybe a little open close of the fist, maybe a little hand mudras, just bringing your finger, your thumb towards the tips of each of your fingers, even pressing your thumb against the back of your fingernails. Shake it out. And then we're gonna come back into tabletop, but this time I want you to turn your fingers towards your knees. So we're gonna get a little bit more of a stretch on the inside of our arms as you sit your hips back towards your heels, and then lift yourself back up into tabletop. Just a couple more times. Just warming up those wrists because we will have some down dog coming into play today. Down dog is a great total body move, really gets into those shoulders, but if you don't warm your wrist up first, I know it can be really challenging. All right, last little stretch of our hands and shoulders. Turn your fingers in towards each other, pointing towards each other, so thumbs are towards your thighs, and we're just gonna shift a little bit left and right. Even bringing your hips into play in this shift right here. Nice. One more time, shifting to each side. Make sure you're getting it nice and even. A little down dog from Uncle Buck. Thank you. You demonstrated it so well. Awesome. Let's go ahead and warm up our lower half. We're just going to do a little plank warm up here. Go ahead, keep your left leg down and extend your right leg out behind you, placing the ball of the foot on the floor, pressing into the ball of the foot, starting to stretch through those heels, re-engaging your belly, squeezing those shoulder blades together. Take a moment right here, first finding some stillness, and then we're just gonna, what's happening, Uncle Buck? We're just gonna press a little bit forwards and back. 2 more times. Beautiful. One more moment right here in your stillness, stacking the heel of the foot on top of the ball. And then change. Go ahead, bring that right leg back in. Extend your left leg out. Plant the ball of the foot on the floor, heel on top of the ball. Squeeze your glute, stretching through your heel, but keeping your heel stacked on top of the ball of the foot to begin with. And now let's find that little gentle rocking back and forth. One more time. Awesome. Go ahead, draw that left leg back in. We're going to go for a child's pose. So send your hips back towards your heels. Walk your hands as far forward as they feel comfortable today. While you're getting into child's pose, I'm just going to tuck my shirt in for some modesty. If you need to take a moment to adjust your costume, go for it right now. Nothing says cool like tucking your t-shirt into your leggings. All right. So you either have your knees open a little bit wider and your toes together for a wide-legged child's pose, or maybe you kept those knees together for a little bit more stimulation on your belly. Keep those hands extended as far in front of you as feels comfortable today. And if you want to work a little bit deeper, start to activate those shoulders, go ahead, tent your fingers and press the pads of those fingers into the floor. And while those pads are pressing, you can use your exhale to work to stretch your hips a little closer to your heels. Let's bring the stretch back to our side body. So walk your hands, maybe lift your head up a little bit as far over to the right as feels comfortable for you. And while your hands are stretching to the right, shift your hips a little bit towards your left heel. Walk it back through to center. And then all the way over to the left side, or whichever side is the opposite side for you. This time shifting your hips a little closer towards that right heel. Awesome. Go ahead, bring it back through to center. Come back into your tabletop. We're going to take our first plank of the day. So step one foot back at a time. Allow the other foot to meet it. We're just going to hang out here for a couple of breaths. 3, 2, 1. Send those hips up towards the ceiling. I like to walk my feet in a little bit closer for my down dog so that I can really bring my belly closer towards my thighs to find that nice long line from my wrist, from my hands, palms on the floor, all the way up towards the hips, or as long of a line as I can create today. But if my legs were too far back, that brings that arching into my back, into my upper body, and we're going for as straight of an upper body as we can. All right, so feel free to walk the dogs, maybe pedal one heel and then the other here. I really like to press up onto my toes, lift both of my heels, and then bring them back down to the floor. So just finding the motion that feels good for you. Bending my knees and lifting my heels up also helps me to bring that belly towards my thighs a little bit of relaxation, a little bit of rounding here, especially if you're feeling really tight in the back. Awesome, and then let's come into some stillness here in down dog. So spread those fingers nice and wide, palms are pressed down to the floor, pads the fingers are pressed down, and your elbow creases are shining forward towards the front of the room. Keep that left foot planted, inhale that right leg up towards the ceiling, make a couple circles with your ankle in one direction, in the opposite direction, and check in with your upper body. As you lifted that right leg, did your chest turn towards the side? If so, keep that chest squared towards the mat, but still work to open the hip. So bend your knee, stack your knee on top of the hip, and make some circles, this time leading with your knee in one direction, in the opposite direction, and go ahead, straighten that right leg, release it back down to the floor. Inhale your left leg up towards the ceiling with that nice straight leg. Reevaluate what's happening with your chest still squared down towards the mat. Make some circles with your ankle in one direction, in the opposite direction, and then bend your knee. So a little bit of twist of the middle body. Make some circles with your knee. Change direction of those circles.
Straighten your left leg back out. Release it down towards the floor. Inhale your right leg back up towards the ceiling. We're going to shift forward, bringing that knee forward into a big mountain climber. Send it back up towards the ceiling, down dog. Mountain climber, draw your knee towards your opposite elbow, up towards the ceiling. One more time, draw that knee towards the same elbow. Send it up towards the ceiling and then bring that right leg through. Yay, let's release our left knee back down towards the floor. We'll just hang out right here in our hip opener. And let's lift our hands up towards our hips so we can take some of the crunching out. So we're just simply kneeling. If you feel extreme pressure on the back of your leg, you can always fold your mat up. All right, so kneeling, make sure that your front leg is a little bit farther forward because now we're going to shift forward, opening up those hips. And then use your breath, exhale back, straightening out your front leg. Option to even send your toes back towards your face. Plant those toes back down, shift forward, and then send it back. Staying lifted right here in our reverse split. One more time, hip opener, reverse split. Back into our hip opener once more. Bring your hands down to the floor. Let's go ahead, tuck that left toe under. If you can, I want you to lift your left knee up off of the floor. Keep your left hand down and inhale, right arm up towards the ceiling. Think about really drawing that right shoulder back as if you're pressing it onto the wall behind you. Make sure you still have a bend in that front knee. And then change, bring your hands down to the floor. Send your right leg back to meet with your left, taking another moment here in plank. So make sure those hips aren't up towards the ceiling. Pull your belly in tight, find that nice straight line with your body. Beautiful, now let's inhale those hips back up towards down dog. Walk your feet in if you need to. Take a moment, walk the dog. And then keep that right leg planted. Inhale your left leg up towards the ceiling. Go ahead, draw that left knee up towards your nose. Mountain climber. Exhale, extend it back up towards the ceiling. Big inhale, bring it to your opposite elbow. Exhale, back up towards the ceiling. Bring it to the same elbow. Back up towards the ceiling, and this time bringing it all the way through. Bringing that back knee down towards the floor. Untucking your back toes, taking a moment, lifting yourself up. Yay, and let's come into our hip opener right here. So as much as you can, shifting forward, making sure that front knee is not going past your toes. If it is, you can always wiggle that front foot forward a little bit more. Using your breath to exhale back. If you want more of a stretch on the leg, pressing your heel into the floor, flex your toes back. 2 more times each direction, forward, back. Ah, so good. Forward, back. One more time. Plant that foot, come forward. Bring your hands back down towards the floor. If you're feeling strong today, if it feels good, tucking those toes under, lifting that right knee up off the floor. Send your left hand up towards the ceiling and really take a moment to squeeze those shoulder blades together. Find that rotation of your chest. Eyes looking up towards your hand for 3, 2, 1. Go ahead, bring your left hand back down towards the floor, and we're going to step our back leg forward, step that right leg forward. Bring your feet together. Just take a moment right here in your dangle. Feel free to bend your knees as much as you want. Get a little extra stretch in your hips and your legs. A lot of weights in your heels. It's okay if your fingers don't touch down towards the floor. You can always have your hands on your thighs or grab hold of your opposite elbow. I want you to work on taking this rounding out of your back right here though. So if you bent your knees and you feel very rounded, I want you to bend your knees even more to bring your belly towards your thighs. Ah, so good. All right. Take a moment. We're slowly going to roll all the way up. Once you get to the top, inhale those arms up overhead.
Bring your hands, palms together. Exhale, hands down to heart center. All right, let's try a nice little flow. Most of what we're going to do in the flow, besides some crescent warrior and warrior two, we already did just now in a teeny little warm-up. So again, just encouraging you to do the best that you can with your body today. If you find you need an extra break, just hang out in child's pose. All right, so from here, we're gonna inhale those arms back up overhead. Exhale, bring your arms out to the side, swan dive down towards the floor. Bend those knees as much as you need to. Inhale into a half lift. So squeezing shoulder blades together, finding that nice flat back, and exhaling back into your forward fold. Alrighty. Bringing those hands down to the mat, or if you have blocks nearby and you want to put your hands on the blocks, that's totally okay. We're going to step our right foot back, bring the ball of the foot down to the floor. Inhale, lift yourself up into a crescent warrior. So your hips are still squared with the top of the mat. That back heel is off of the floor. Relax those shoulders from your ears. We're going to open up to the right side. Warrior two. So keep that big bend in your front knee and look towards that front hand palm. Keeping it nice and easy for this first time through. Come back into your crescent warrior. So turning back towards the front of the mat, finding that deep bend in your knee. Exhale, raining those fingers down towards the floor. Go ahead, step your left leg back to meet with your right. Inhale, both hips up towards the ceiling. Into our down dog, and then we're going to step or jump towards the top of our mat. Take a moment in this fold. Find a nice little half lift. Exhale back down into your fold, and inhale all the way up. Bring those arms up overhead, palms come together. Exhale, bring those hands down to heart center. Just take a moment right here in your mountain pose. Come back to your breath. Slow that exhale down, bring your heart rate back down. And let's do the same thing the best we can on our other side. So inhale those arms up overhead. Exhale, swan dive down to the floor. Belly tight on this swan dive. Hands come close to the mat. Knees can bend. Inhale into your half lift. So as straight of a spine as you can. Stretch to the crown of your head. Exhale back down into your forward fold. This time, hands on the floor, we're going to step that left leg back. Inhale up into your crescent warrior. Oh, I did the wrong leg. Beautiful. Awesome. We're going to open up to the side. Coming into warrior two, make sure there's still a nice big bend of your front knee. Weight is in your heels, turning towards that right arm in front. Come on back into your crescent warrior. Turn back towards the front of the mat. Find that big bend in your knee. Exhale, rain your hands down towards the floor. Go ahead, step your right leg back to meet with your left. Hanging out here in a plank, send your hips up towards the ceiling. Down dog, bend those knees as much as you need to. And get ready to step or jump up towards the top of the mat. Inhale once more into a half lift. Exhale into your forward fold. And inhale, roll yourself all the way up. Bring those arms up overhead, palms together. Exhale, bring your hands down to heart center. Awesome, we're gonna add on a little bit more each time we go through. We've got 2 more times through. Inhale those arms up overhead, eyes follow hands. Exhale, arms come out to the side, pull your belly in tight, bring your hands down to the floor. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, forward fold. Plant those hands, step your right foot back. Inhale up to crescent warrior. Exhale, open it up into warrior two. Adding on a little bit here. We're gonna turn that front palm over and come into our humble warrior. So reach your right hand fingertips down your thigh. Left hand comes up overhead. Back into warrior two. Keep that bend of your front knee. Turn towards the front of the mat. Back to your crescent warrior. Exhale your fingers down towards the floor.
Send your left leg back to meet with your right. Find yourself in your plank. Squeeze your belly in nice and tight. Then send those hips up towards the ceiling. Down dog. Take a couple breaths here in your down dog. Resetting right here. Feel free to bend those knees. Bending those knees is also going to help you as we step or jump forward to the top of the mat. Inhale up into your half lift. Exhale into your forward fold. And then inhale, slowly roll yourself up. Bring those arms up overhead, palms together. And then heart center. Other side. Inhale, arms up overhead, eyes follow. Belly pulled in, bring those arms out. Swan dive down towards the floor. Step your opposite foot back. Inhale, come on up into that crescent warrior. Front leg is bent, hips are forward. Open up towards the left side, coming into your warrior two. Big bend in your right knee. Turn your right hand palm over, stretch it up, eyes stretch up. Maybe even a teeny little back bend. Back into your warrior two. Turn that back foot forward. Bring those arms up overhead. Crescent warrior. Exhale, rain your fingers down towards the floor. Step your right leg back to meet with your left. Take a moment in plank. Then a big inhale, send your hips up towards the ceiling. Ooh, hang out for a couple breaths right here in down dog. And then step, walk, or jump to the front of the mat. Inhale into a half lift. Exhale, forward fold, belly on thighs as much as possible, and then slowly roll yourself up. Inhale, arms up overhead, palms together and bring them down to heart center. Gonna add a little bit more this time. Let's go one more time through. Inhale, arms up overhead, eyes follow arms, open hands, belly tight, swan dive down to the floor. Inhale into your half lift. Exhale into your forward fold. Plant those hands down to the floor. Send your right leg back to meet with your left. This time before we come into our crescent warrior, keep that right hand on the floor. Inhale your left arm up towards the ceiling. Exhale, left hand comes back down. Inhale, both hands up. Crescent warrior. Open up into warrior two. Turn your front hand palm over. Come into your humble warrior. Exhale back into warrior two. Bring that right hand forward. Crescent lunge. Exhale both hands down to the floor. Go ahead, step your left leg back to meet with your right. Take a moment in plank. Inhale those hips up towards the ceiling. Bend your knees as much as you need to. No crying in yoga right now, Uncle Buck. Down dog. And then step or jump up to the top of the mat. Inhale into your half lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, roll yourself up. Arms come up overhead, palms together. Bring those hands down to heart center. One more time through. Last time, opposite side. Inhale, arms up, eyes follow, belly tight. Swan dive down on that exhale. Inhale into a half lift. Exhale into a forward fold. Place your hands on the floor. Step your left leg back. Keep your left hand down. Inhale, right arm up into that big twist. Exhale, right hand back down. Inhale, both arms up. Lift up into your crescent warrior. Take a deep inhale, open up into your warrior two. Turn your hand palm over, finding peaceful. Exhale back into warrior two. Inhale, come into your crescent on this side. Exhale those fingers back down to the floor. Send your right leg back to meet with your left. Hang out in your plank. Inhale those hips up towards the ceiling for down dog. Exhale, step or jump forward. Last time. Inhale to your half lift. Exhale to your forward fold. One more time. Round all the way up. Inhale, arms up overhead. Come into mountain. And bring your hands down to heart center. Let's take a quick little balance pose.
before we come down on the floor for our Savasana. Balanced posture of your choice. I'm going to come into tree, so just keeping my hands palms at my heart center, keeping my right foot ground with the mat. Just gonna lift that left leg up, opening my thigh out towards the side. Wow. I am feeling quite warm. I hope you guys are too. Make sure you're not pressing the sole of the foot on the knee bend. And change. Release that left foot back down. Shift your weight. Come into your balance on your opposite side. Really think about opening that knee back, finding that engagement of your glute right now. Take one more deep inhale. Exhale your right foot down. Inhale your arms back up overhead. Exhale, forward hinge this time. Belly tight. Step or jump back into your plank. Hang out here for 3, 2, 1. Go ahead, bring those knees down to the floor. Send your hips back towards your heels. Another child's pose.
Good work, everybody. I hope you really enjoyed that little mini flow. Let me know if that's something you would like to see more of. Let's go ahead and take a nice little stretch of our shoulders, of our backs. We're going to work our way forward. So walk your hands forward, bringing that chest towards the floor. We're coming into puppy pose. So hips stacked on top of knees, similar to child's pose, just a little bit more of a lift. Opening those arms out nice and wide can help to take some of the pressure off that lower back. If you need to, you can always fold those hands in to work to bring your head towards the floor instead of just your chest down towards the mat. We're going to take 2 more breaths here before we pull forward into Sphinx pose. Beautiful, good work. Take your time bringing that belly forward, bringing those forearms down to your mat. Pressing your elbows into the floor right underneath of your shoulders, and bring your chin parallel to the floor so your head is lifted. It's going to bring a little extra stretch to that mid back with your chin lifted as opposed to with your chin tucked, which brings us a little bit more into the neck and shoulders. Take 2 more breaths right here. And then go ahead and release your head down to the floor. Make a little pillow with your hands. Bend your knees and just windshield wipe your feet to relieve any tension that might have built into that lower back. We'll take a nice little spine twist shoulder stretch right here. So go ahead, extend your right arm out to the side. Bring your left hand in towards your chest. Make sure that your right hand palm is about in line with your shoulder. A nice straight line. We're going to roll over onto our right side and just pick up that left leg and tap it down on the floor somewhere. You can even relax your head down on the floor. If you want to focus more on the shoulder stretch, you're going to focus on rotating out towards that right arm. If you want to focus a little bit more on the spine stretch, you're going to walk your left hand fingertips away as much as possible. And change. Go ahead, gently roll back over onto your belly. Extend the opposite hand out. Look at it. Make sure it's in line with your shoulder and walk the other hand in. Slowly, gently start to roll over onto the side of your body. Bring your head down to the floor. Find a place to relax and tap your upper leg down. You can keep the shoulder stretch rolling towards your left hand or come more into the spine stretch, just honoring what your body needs today. Remember, every day is different and everyone's body is different. So what feels great for me might feel not as great for you. Maybe that's not the stretch that you need. So I encourage you to find the stretch that you need right now. Take 1 more big breath. And then let's go ahead and roll over onto our bellies. Let's take Savasana on our belly today so we can get another extra little stretch of our necks. So relax your arms down by your side and go ahead and turn your left ear onto your mat. Here you can allow those shoulders to start to come down towards the mat, a little separation of those shoulder blades at your back. If your eyes are still open, finding that one spot to focus your eyes here in Savasana. We've got 2 minutes on each side, a nice passive stretch of the neck right here. Palms facing up towards the ceiling. Stillness. Take the time right here to slow your breath down again and really, as we did before in child's pose, work to find the expansion of your lungs in your rib cage along the back side of the body. Taking this time to just allow your practice to sink in for all of that amazing circulation to continue to happen. It's helping to erase all of those negative thoughts and feelings, to break down scar tissue. Just make everything a little bit better. On your next inhale, lift your head up and turn to the opposite side. Place your opposite ear down on the mat. Back to those beautiful, slow breaths. Feel like that Febreze commercial right now where everything smells so good that they just lay down on the floor and they sniff it, but I promise you my mat smells just okay. Beautiful stillness, amazing practice. Take a little wiggle of your fingers, of your toes, maybe a little shaking of that body. Wake yourself back up, take your time. We're gonna press ourselves up into a seated position. However, if you would like to roll over onto your back and spend some time in a traditional Savasana, you are more than encouraged to do so. Taking that extra time to yourself. Okay, go ahead, bring your hands, palms to the center of your chest, thumbs touching on your sternum. Take a moment, tuck your chin to your chest, and honor yourself. Think about why you came to the mat today. Feel pride in whatever it is that you did. If you have any questions or concerns, know you can always reach out. We're here for you. As always, continue to think those good thoughts. Eat good foods. Speak good words and do good deeds and nourish yourself from the inside out. We're going to finish bringing our thumbs towards our drishti, towards our third eye. Stretch those elbows up towards the ceiling. Bring your face up towards the ceiling as the light in me honors and sees the light within you. Thank y'all so much for coming today,
for allowing me to share my energy and for sharing some with me and everyone else in your life. Namaste.